Both of you fellows are from small towns. How do you learn to play basketball coming from small towns where there's not maybe as much competition as there is in a larger city?
The thing about me that I always was with a group of guys who was older than me, and I always played ball with guys who were like 3 or 4 years older than I am. And being that way, I was usually about the same height they were, and I think that's how, helped my ball.
It helped his play so much that Tommy put brand new Avery County High on the basketball map. Coach Bruce Daniels even came out of retirement to run the team.
Well, I think anywhere in the state that you would go now and say that I'm from Newland, the first thing they'd think of, well, that's where Tom Burleson's from, isn't it? Prior to Tom becoming the outstanding basketball player that he was, Newland, you just wouldn't know where Newland was. But I'm sure that most people in the state of North Carolina knows that Newland is the home of Tom Burleson. I knew from the 8th grade, from his freshman year, that Tom would develop into an All-American. I even predicted that he would be All-American, and that when the time come for him to go into pro ball, that he would sign a lucrative contract, which I think is forthcoming.
Was that your main goal when you were coaching?
No, it wasn't. My main goal toward Tom was to create in him an attitude, a good attitude toward life, because the way a person plays on the court is going to determine how he'll play the game of life. And I wanted Tom to develop that type attitude, and he hasn't disappointed me at all.
How has that been reflected in his play, say, at North Carolina State, which is a very close team, both on and off the basketball court?
You can observe that with the inspiration and the love that each one of those members have toward each other. You can see it at the beginning of the game, how they just cherish each other. And had you watched the Eastern Regional Finals last Saturday, you would have seen the expression and love for David after he came back into the Coliseum after they had thought that he had probably been seriously injured. And they have a deep love, and I think Tom really has that toward each one of them.
Coach Sloan was one of the main factors, and then the school itself. And I always liked North Carolina State, and they had a growing basketball. The program out there was growing, and I saw a chance for me to get into it, and be able to play a lot, as center, because I would be stepping into a good position. And it was just like I say, Coach Sloan was a great coach, and the school and the people connected with the school were really great. One of the greatest teams, I think, was the greatest team I've ever played on. And it's most definitely probably be one of the greatest teams to go down in history because of the great individual talent, such as, David Thompson, Monty Towell, Tim Stoddard, Phil Spence, Steve Noose. It's just Morris Rivers. And, individual talent like this, it makes a team so great.
Among those who knew the game, there's never been any real doubt that Tommy Burleson would be a great basketball player, and it came from more than just his awesome height. He knew how to use that 7-foot 4-inch frame to strangle the opposition. Tommy was a member of the 1972 United States Olympic team. It meant valuable experience. That season, he wound up teaming with newcomers Thompson and Towell for a perfect season at state. And when the final victory was gained, Tommy was voted the coveted Everett Case Award as the ACC tournament's best. The next year saw Tommy join David on the U.S. World University team, and those two dazzled the Russians in Moscow, walking off with another championship. Tommy is at his best in the big games, and his premier performance came against Maryland in a memorable showdown for the 1974 ACC title. Challenged by the Terrapins' great Lynn Elmore, Tommy rose to the occasion. As the 103-100 overtime victory went into the record books, it carried along the decisive 38-point performance of the tall young man from Newland. And when the ballots were counted, Tommy again won a second consecutive Case Award as the tournament's most valuable player. But despite all his accomplishments on the hardwood, and there were many of them, including All-America honors, Tommy's praise is for his neighboring teammate.
I don't know, he's got the greatest ability I think God ever gave anyone player in the world. And if David wanted to, he could be the cockiest player, like I say, cockiest player in the world, because he could get out there and do it and then tell people to go jump in the lake. But David goes out there and he does it. He comes back off the court and he's just David. He's just, you know, he doesn't brag about what he does. He's just an outstanding individual. And to me, that among other things, David just makes him, you know, one of the outstanding people that I ever know.